I'm Jeep and Bubba, and today we are addressing the stock track bars and steering in this 2020 JL. It's our Black Bear Edition JL that my wife drives. Don't tell anybody. Anyways, we're going to go with Steer Smarts. It's fantastic stuff, made in the U.S., made in Michigan. It's super, super beefy. Kyle's favorite term. This thing, it's got the beef. It's got Wendy's beat, okay? So what we're going to do is get rid of this stock one. Now, the factory did make them a little bit bigger than they did in the JKs, but it's still not adequate, and I still don't like the joints in it. I like what they're doing over at Steer Smarts. We have a JKS track bar mount. It's just a bolt in, but we threw some welds on it as well. So we should have a really tough system when we're all done. I'm impressed with the threads on this thing. That is just, that's ridiculously awesome. So made in the USA, good quality stuff. Let's get it thrown on. Oh, and one thing to note, this track bar is what centers our rear axle. So what we're going to do is pull this off. We're going to put everything together and try to match those lengths. And then we'll throw a tape between them, even them out, make sure that we are centered in the rear. All right, so we got the track bar in. Super easy. Now, if you read the instructions, which they're on the website, it's like steersmarts.com/installation or something like that. You'll find it. Go on the website, look up installs on the right hand. They show this the other way around, and that's for clearance of the factory exhaust. It did not work with my JKS bracket, so what I'm doing is flipping it this direction, which should totally be fine, because I have a Flowmaster exhaust. I'm not worried about hitting anything. I don't need the extra clearance. I should be fine. We'll know when we get the tires on. And then we got the collar on. Now what we've done is we've left this loose. We're going to sit on the ground and try to center the axle. Just let it rest, and then we'll measure left to right and see what we need to do from there. All right, we decided after putting that track bar on to throw it on the poser ramp and see. One, the bump stops work perfectly, because at full bump, we are tucked in nice. But because we didn't use the orientation suggested by Steer Smarts, we wanted to make sure that we didn't hit the exhaust. But we actually, even though it looks tight, we've got about an inch or two in there, and we are fully in the bump. So we're safe even if we had a big, big bump. This has a little bit of play. You can move it a little bit. Sorry, that's bad filming, but we're good. So Steer Smart sticker is deployed. We got it perfectly even, and the back is done. Let's move on to the front. Very happy with the way this looks, and I'm sure it's going to perform fantastic. Let's move to the front. All right, folks, I am at the front now. So what we have on our bottom, you should know this, but tie rod, okay, track bar, and drag link. All right, so we're going to pull those off. Those are all factory. What's wrong with them? Well, nothing. They actually all, they're not loose, they're not slack, but they would be in about 10, 15,000 miles. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade them with the best steering on the market currently for the JL, and probably in perpetuity. Now, I do have an aftermarket JKS track bar. We're going to take that out and replace it with Steer Smart. Nothing against the JKS. It's been good, but I like to keep it all uniform in the steering. And then we're going to do a stabilizer from Steer Smarts as well. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Everything in here Steer Smarts. So it's going to be sweet. It's going to be beefy. We're going to do it as fast as possible. This won't be a how-to. It'll be take that nut off, take that nut off, take that nut off, drop it all out, and throw it all back in and get it aligned. Let's see if we can do that like that. Okay, just like that. All the magic has happened. We got a new tie rod. Look how beefy that is. Drag link, track bar, steering stabilizer, and bracket. We're going to do full-on alignment in the morning, but we're going to close up the shop for now. I'll do a recap and see if we can put some miles on this thing and see what we think. Alright guys, it's a couple weeks after this install, and there's the JL right there, and I'm going to tell you a couple things that I like about this Steer Smart setups, and I'll tell you about a couple of the negatives. So right off the bat, I did not think I was going to see a difference in how the steering acted. I'm going to tell you this, if you ever hear NASCAR talk about, oh, it's a little tighter, or I need to be a little bit looser, Marine, not a NASCAR fan, but it feels tighter. And this vehicle doesn't have a lot of miles on it, so I didn't think I would see an improvement over the factory and the overall feel of steering. But now it feels like it takes a little bit more work. It feels tighter and stronger. but then it goes exactly where I want it. It doesn't feel like there's any delay. It just feels right. Now I know they did do a recall on some of the steering stabilizers on here, so we have a new SteerSmarts one on there, so that could be part of what I'm feeling. But the joints, which I'll show you, are much beefier than your factory joints. They're stronger, they're bigger, and they just are tighter. They don't have as much play in them, and they just feel fantastic. The rear track bar, which is a new item for them, I think really helped tighten up that rear end. If you're in the cars, they call that a panhard bar, and we were just using the factory with a bracket. Now, here's one of the points you're going to see on any kind of upgraded steering. The metal that they use, the steel, is going to be thicker, and so there's going to be a lot less rebound when you have these big tires on. And this is what you want if you're running a big tire. If you're running a 33 or up, your factory is just not sufficient. And if you have a JK or JL that is been running 35 or up for any amount of time, or it's over 100,000 miles, your joints are worn out anyways. That's part of what's contributing to your death wobble if you're experiencing any, or any kind of bump steer. Now, this is a new vehicle, but I'm telling you, in a new vehicle, it already makes a difference. And I know going off-road, it's tougher, and it's going to be something that lasts me a long time, and the factory should have built it this way to begin with. And the nice thing about SteerSmarts is they've been working with OEM manufacturers for a long time, so this is OE on some vehicles. They're just that good at building steering, and this is just a beefy, it's just thicker, stronger, better all around for off-roading. Now, the negative is of it, it's a little bit pricey, but you're getting American quality. So if you're going to try to compare this thing to Rubicon Express or Smittybilt or something like that along those lines, I don't think Smitty makes one right now. If you want to go, you'd have to go like Rough Country or Rubicon Express, which I don't want to knock their brand, but they're getting made overseas. It's not the same quality steel. It's not the same thickness. Not to knock TerraFlex. I've used their product for a long time. I like it, but this is even better than that by far. I mean, it's the premium. It is the it's just, it takes it up a notch. It's another level. And why do you want that? It's going to be something that lasts you a long time, and it works fantastically. So if you have worn out joints, if you have bent steering, if you have a new vehicle and you just want a tighter feel and you want something that's going to last a long time and it's going to go along and upgrade your off-road suspension kit, for sure, like, you're going to need a track bar if you go with a bigger lift. And swapping the track bar in the rear and going to the SteerSmarts track bar in the front, huge improvement over ride. Now, it's not Heim joints. Some people want Heim joints for flex, but these joints that are on here are super tough, and they're going to last you a long time, and it's completely rebuildable. So if you want to swap out ends, it's no big deal. You just hop over to SteerSmarts, and they make just a quality product. So I'm going to get down here real quick and just show you in the daylight one last look at this thing. But oof, it's hard on a big guy. Anyways, there is the ends, and you can see that American flag because it's built in the USA. Huge positive is this is a no drill setup, so even though it's a bigger end, they taper it perfectly, so you're not going to have to do any drilling, and that's fantastic. Now, there's the new stabilizer. Looks good. That's their bracket they include, and you can see behind me how big that tie rod is. If you have a JK or JL, go out and look at yours. It doesn't look like that. And the weight difference is huge. These things are way heavier. You know, it's a dense, strong steel. It's a great setup. So if you're thinking about upgrading your steering on your Jeep JK or JL, look no further than SteerSmarts. Quality product, made in Michigan. My thumbs up. I give it all the approval in the world. Check out that new track bar in the rear. I don't know if they are the only or the first, but they're one of the only I know of that's making a rear track bar currently for the JL platform, and it is awesome. It's red powder coat, looks great, it's beefy, it's strong, and I'm just so happy that we did it. Shout out to SteerSmarts for making an awesome product. Thank guys for all you guys do. Keep making that good stuff here in America. Love hearing when stuff's coming from Michigan. Automotive parts come from Michigan. That just sounds American, like apple pie and cold beer. Anyways, folks, I hope you have an adventure plan for your future. Don't forget to eat your prunes, and as always, we'll be seeing you. Hey, I'm Bubba Jeba. Hi, I'm Beepin' Jubba, and today I have a shaft.